Good evening, wherever you're watching me from. Yeah, let's put this here. Yes. So, hi everybody. Those that are watching me, how are you doing? How are you today? So, let's get right into it. So today I'm sharing how to deal with job search rejection. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Tess Newman. I'm a career strategist. I help individuals get hired in less than 90 days. I also help individuals get promoted in less than 90 days. So today's topic is how to deal with job search rejection. We all know that people have been rejected in multiple ways. Some are being laid off, that's rejection. Some are being fired, some are being forced to resign, and others are being rejected when they apply for jobs. So whilst we're here thinking about everything that is going on, let's look at how to deal with rejection. I have worked in HR for more than 10 years now, more than 11 years, and I have rejected multiple people. Whilst I've rejected people, I have been rejected as well, because before I became an entrepreneur, I was an employee. And I went through this. I have lived all my career life abroad. I've not been living my career life in my nation. So that means I have been rejected as well. This is not something new. But let's get into it. Okay. So, first of all, when you're rejected, the first thing you have to do is ask for detailed feedback. If they give you the feedback, that's the best first step. Though in most cases they don't give feedback for legal reasons, especially I remember, I'll tell you a story. One of the times I was in Dubai and I was working in HR, and there was this HR friend of mine who was working for a big company. So they sent detailed feedback to one of the candidates that was rejected for a big position in the company, and this guy ended up suing them. So that is one way to look at it from the perspective of the company. If they don't give you detailed feedback, probably they're scared of mitigating circumstances. They know what's going to happen after they send you the feedback. So if they give you the feedback, use it. If they don't give it to you, it's still fine. Life doesn't end there. It's still fine. You can still move on. So ask for it. But even if they don't give it to you, life doesn't end there. You have to go on. So the second thing that is really, really important is once you receive, for example, you've been applying for jobs and there is this automated message that you receive. I have sent that message, I have received it. So I've been on both sides. So once there is that message and you're like, we're not going on with you, blah, 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 blah. We found more closely suitable candidates. Don't take it personal. Just don't take it personally, because sometimes it's not because of you. Sometimes it's because of you, but then sometimes it's not because of you. But again, even if it's because of you, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue to whine about it? Are you going to continue to complain? Because the more you dwell on that, the less energy you'll have to move to the next step. So what do? Read whatever feedback you've been given. If you can use it to better yourself for the next interview, good. And even if you can't, just let it go. I always tell my clients that do your best to be philosophical. Whatever you can change. Whatever you cannot change, don't dwell on it. For example, you have been rejected, and some companies say you're overqualified. And when I look at it from their perspective, it's because they think you won't stay long in the company. Once you get another opportunity, you're going to run away. And these are concerns of companies, of employers, which are legit concerns. What if you leave? It's possible. You could join in 6 months or 1 year, and they've invested a lot of time training and all that. Then you leave. They're not going to hold you back. So if they say you're overqualified, again, it's because you're stooping a bit low. Think about it in another way. These people are seeing value in you that you don't see in yourself. Forget forget the fact that probably you're desperate and you really need to get a job ASAP. But give them some credit. If a person tells you, for example, you wear a pair of shoes, of course you're not, but you wear a pair of shoes, and someone says you're being sold to just a minute. You're being sold $200, but you should be sold 200,000. You shouldn't get upset, because they see that value in you that you don't see in yourself. So as much as possible, look at it from the positive side. Then another thing that you can do is share your disappointments with someone you trust. Any situation that entails rejection oftentimes makes us feel like we're not worthy, makes us feel less important, less skilled, less talented, and less everything. Of course, when you're rejected, it dawns on you. So find somebody you trust, like a mentor, like a coach, someone who will not say things that you really love to hear, someone who will tell you things that you must hear. That's important, because many times we tend to go to people who are going to tell us things we want to hear, because you're devastated, you're depressed, you are down, you just want someone to tell you, yeah, it's the company's fault that they rejected you, or this and this. But if it's true that it's not the company's fault, you made a mistake, you need someone who's going to tell you, this is the mistake you have made, and this is how you're going to correct it. Now, don't go to people who are going to tell you this is the mistake you have made without telling you how to correct it. That is criticism, which is not going to help you. So a person who wants to see you prosper, to see you improve, is not just going to tell you your mistake without telling you how to correct it. By the time they saw that it's a mistake, they must know how to correct it. So speak to somebody, speak to a mentor. That's why it's really important. You cannot succeed in life when you don't have a mentor, when you don't have a coach. And stop getting mentors who, like, people that are, you've grown up with them and stuff, and maybe they are doing better than you. Maybe they're in positions where you want to be. But find somebody who doesn't know much about you, who will give you feedback, which is unbiased. We are human beings. We could be influenced by something we know about you, by history, by anything. So find a mentor or a coach who doesn't know anything about you, and you should be honest with them so that they can help you. Now, another thing you should do is review and reflect on the process and the results. Many people, they actually reflect a lot on the results without reflecting on the process. As much as the results are very important, there's a process that takes you to those results. Today, we find very many people that want to get results whose process they don't understand. That is why they get disappointed, and that is why not many people can get the same results over and over again, because they don't understand the process. Probably they stumbled themselves into getting those results, and if you ask them to do it again, then they won't be able to get the same results. So review and reflect on the process and the results. I always help people, especially if you have been rejected after an interview, go find another person that is going to do an informal interview with you, record it, and let them give you feedback. Many times, in my experience, I've seen candidates, they tend to find a person that is going to say only the good things, just make them feel better, and this is because this is what they want to hear. If you want to grow, you must be willing to welcome anything that comes your way, if you really want to grow. Because if you're going to keep around people that say things that please you all the time, they don't push you, then you won't grow, or you will take a very long time to grow. So this review and reflection is going to help you understand where the mistakes were and how to correct them and how to move forward. It's important. Don't do the same thing if it's not giving you results. I always tell my clients that if you're looking for a job and you have failed within 6 months, everything you're doing is wrong. At least one of them would have put you closer to getting a job. Just forget about it. Forget about whatever you have been doing for the past 6 months. And also, don't wait for 6 months for you to review what you're doing, for you to reflect on what you're doing. Every 2 weeks, sit down and say, what goals did I set for this week? Did I achieve them? To what degree did I achieve them? What worked, what didn't work? How can I do this even better? Because trust me, 90 days are enough for you to get a job. And I always tell clients that if you fail to get a job in 6 months, the first place to look at is your network. It means everybody you have is useless. I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth. That's the bitter truth. If you're looking for a job in 6 months and you have failed to find one, fire all the friends you have. Fire all the people that are in your inner circle. All of them. Especially if they're working. Unless if they're all unemployed. And what are you doing with unemployed folks if you're unemployed? What are you doing with all of them? Fire all of them. So it's important for you to keep around people that are going to help you move forward. And I'm not saying forget the people that you have if they are all unemployed. But how? I just can't understand. How does one end up unemployed with friends that are unemployed? Check yourself. Check yourself. If all your network, if your circle of friends, there is none that can help you, at least connect you to somebody that knows somebody that is hiring. Check yourself. The next thing. Now, this is for those that have been rejected after the interview. Stay in touch with the person that interviewed you. Network with them, connect with them on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is one of those social media platforms you can always stay connected with people professionally. Althea, come and help me here. Come and put off the sound. So, stay connected with the person that has interviewed you. First of all, once you're done with the interview, send a thank you note. Whether they respond to it or they don't respond to it, send it. Send a thank you note. Thank you so much for your time, blah, 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 blah. Just a few words and leave it. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Engage on their posts. Engage with them in whatever way is possible. Ensure that that bond is there. It's there. Stay connected, because you don't know. There is a person I was talking to, was it last week? And she told me that this company interviewed her and she was rejected. And she sent a thank you note. She was like, you know what? Let me just be positive with these people, even if I'm extremely disappointed. And guess what? 1 year later, they invited her to come and look at an offer. They didn't interview her again. She was invited to the office. She was given an offer which was a lot better than the previous offer. So now today she has grown into 3 positions in that particular company. So it's always good to keep those connections close. Whether they're going to give you a job or not, but keep them close. You just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So in case something comes up, you're the first person they think about. You see, when you're looking for something, let's say in your house, when you're looking for something, you don't first go to the neighbors. You first take it to your house. You're like, oh, I need a book. The last place you're going to think about is the store where you're going to buy the book. But the first place is to flip everything in your house to see if there is a book, right? So that's how it happens. When we're hiring, we first look within. Who do we know within this company? No one. Who have we interviewed before that can be a good fit? No one. Who do we know who knows somebody? So that is how it is. That's why statistics say that 80% of jobs are filled through referrals. They're not advertised. So you see why it's important. Baby, sit down in one place. Don't disorganize. Don't disorganize me. You're confusing me. Sit down. You come to my office, you sit in one place. Okay? If you don't want, you go and sit elsewhere. You see, you're confusing me. I even forgot what I was saying. Always keep in touch. Network with the people that are in those companies that you want to go to work in. Network with people that are in positions where, the people you want to be like. Of course, there is always someone who is doing better than you. That you not necessarily copy them, but you want to be in the same position or even better position. So network. The other thing is, if you are exhausted, job searching is exhausting. I told you sit down. Sit. And I'm not gonna say this again. Do you understand? You're confusing me. You come to my office and disorganize me. Mixy. I'm not going to let you come in my office again. Do you still want to come? Hey, then sit properly. Don't disorganize. Don't keep playing. Okay, so like I was saying, if you are exhausted, you say job search is it's a full-time job. The only difference between this job and the other one is the pay. The other one is paid for and this one is not paid for. But looking for a job is a job in itself. But you must do it so well for you to get the other job. So if you're exhausted, rest. Take a break. Let no one kid you that if you take a break, opportunities are going to go. They'll go when you're looking at them like this. Because you can't think you're exhausted. Everybody has a breaking point. Everybody, even machines have a breaking point. So you as a human being, ensure that you don't let yourself get to a point where you have broken, that you need months to recover. So when you feel it's too much, sometimes it's overwhelming because you've been sending out applications and nothing is coming back. It's like you're knocking on a rock. So once you get to that point and you've spoken to your friends, you've spoken to somebody you trust, you still feel that heavy weight on you, take a break. Forget anything about anything related to job search. First, put it aside and you say, you know what? I'm done. For now, I'm done. For the next 2 days, I'm not going to touch my computer. I'm not going to touch my phone. I'm not going to look at emails. I'm just going to be me. Take care of yourself. Drink a lot of water. Go for a massage if you have to. Go to the spa. Just maybe call somebody you've not called in a very long time. Go do volunteering. Something that makes you feel good. Just give. By the way, one of the things I've seen that always lifts people's spirits is giving. Even when you're in need, there is always something in your house that you can give for free. You can give out for free that you don't need. So what you do is go into your house and see what is here that shouldn't be here. Look for it. You tell it, you're not supposed to be here. Get out. So you go and give it to somebody else. Once you put a smile on someone else's face, you're going to come back home with that smile as well. I'm telling you things I've done. Hey, it's true. I've also been an employee and I've been unemployed at some point in my career. Some years ago, I was unemployed. So make someone else happy. If you're exhausted, take a break, rest, sleep, drink water, do something you've not done that is out of job search. The other thing you can do is this is interesting. Manage your expectations. There is a person who contacted me on LinkedIn, and this person was telling me, oh, I want to get a job in Dubai. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that for you. So can I have a look at your resume? I looked at the resume and we had a conversation. So I was like, okay, what is your salary expectation? This person is from a South Asian country. She has less than 3 years of experience. And she wanted a job as a marketing executive, and her salary expectation was $15,000. Now, anybody that is in the UAE knows that is beyond a dream. That is beyond a dream. So I was like, have you looked at the salary grades and salary pays for the Middle East region? She was like, yeah. I was like, did you really understand that? Because are you saying you're expecting $15,000 or dirhams? So she was like, dollars. And I was like, okay, this is a bit unrealistic because you have less than 3 years of experience. You don't have experience in UAE and you're expecting $15,000. Like, really? So I told her, if you stand your ground, then I suggest you get another coach. She came back to me 1 year later, telling me she was still looking for a job. So manage your expectations. Many people abroad, many people who are not in a certain nation, always think, they always have a certain perspective. But the data is there. The information is there online. Find it. Don't be too lazy to even think. So it is going to save you a lot of time. So this lady, spent a lot of 1 year, 12 months, you're not getting a job just because of your unrealistic expectations. So manage your expectations. There are so many people that have come to me and they're looking for jobs in Finland. And I'm like, the first thing I ask them is, do you speak Finnish? No. Do you speak Swedish? No. Okay. Now that is a big problem. Which job do you want? Marketing. You're going to interact with customers. But are you aware that these are the most important languages in Finland? No. Okay. You wait. I'll get back to you. And that ends the conversation. Because this person has not done their homework. You want to go and work in Dubai. Are you looking at Dubai, the infrastructure perspective? Or have you read some data that is telling you these are the job grades, these are the pay grades, and this is what you get when you're doing this? Because coming out to say, this is what I want. When even people in that position, in bigger companies with 10 years of experience, they're not getting that much, then you're just being delusional. And that is going to waste a lot of your time. So as a person looking for a job, manage your expectations. It's very important. I hope we're together on that one. Another one, resilience. Resilience is very important. I'm still waiting. If you know somebody that has been successful with the first try, they are successful, please send the information about that person to me. I'm still waiting. So if you want something that is really worth keeping, you're going to keep trying. Trying in the sense of, let me see if it's going to work. No, you put in 100%. And even if it doesn't work, you go back and put in 100%. Now, I have come across many, especially foreigners, that went in a country A, they have been looking for jobs, and these jobs are nowhere to be found. Because, when they were going to that nation, you see what these people, These motivational speakers. These motivational speakers are going to make people fly over skyscrapers. So a person's like, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. My dear, someone is watering it. And sometimes it looks fake. Most times, fake grass looks so green. Or if it is really green grass and it is not fake, someone is watering it. But do you know what effort they're putting in? Very many people, you see when you look at kids, when a child sees you driving, like my kids, like this one seated here, who can't sit down in one place. When she sees me driving, she's like, it's so easy to drive. But tell her to start driving, then it's going to be another story. So it's the same with job searching. You'll see somebody has gotten a job and you're like, this one, am I more qualified? I'm more this, I'm more that. Then you get there. Becomes another story. So you have to build resilience. I always tell, especially foreigners, I tell them when you go to a nation, any nation, name it, you go there, the first skill you must build is a thick skin. I went to Dubai in 2011, straight from school, and I just graduated, so fresh. I went there, like, I'll get the job in 1 month. I'll get a job in 1 month. 2 months, 3, I was like, So reality hit, like, okay. But one of the things that I can tell you that made me succeed was resilience. Because, hey, if you're a foreigner, believe it or not, at one point you're going to face racism. Believe it or not. There is this guy, he called me, Tess Newman, yes, Tess Newman. Oh, admin manager, yes. Okay, can we have a meeting tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. Hey, I'm ready. I'm always ready. You wake me up at 3 a.m. and tell me, interview. Okay, let's start. So next day I go for the interview, and the first thing this guy tells me when he sees me, oh, you're black. I was like, hey. We know when someone makes you rethink your skin color? So that is the day I was like, hey, am I purple? Am I blue? Hey, am I? Yeah, I am. So I was like, yeah, I'm black. So, and it didn't really get to me at that point. I was like, is this guy colorblind or what? So we get into the meeting and the interview. It was an informal interview. And then he's like, oh, actually, I want to hire you. But because you're black, now it's funny, but that time it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. So he said, our budget is 5,000 dirhams. But because you're black, I'm going to give you 3,000. I looked at this guy, I was like, is this guy kidding? So because I hadn't gone into like multiple interviews, most of the time I was being rejected. So I was like, is this how they conduct interviews in Dubai? Is this guy joking? Should I laugh? Should I? So I just looked at him. So I was like, are you serious? He said, yeah. Our budget is 5,000 dirhams, but because you're black, we're going to give you 3,000. I was like, this guy is joking. I told him, okay, thank you, but I'm not interested anymore. I think I'll leave now. I got my file and then he was like, oh, think about my offer. I was like, F you. So this guy calls after 2 days and he's like, Tess Newman. I'm like, yes. Did you think about my offer? I was like, who is this? Oh, I had an interview with you 2 days ago. Did you think about my offer? I don't want to say what I said because my daughter is here. But he was the one who hung up. He hung up. And I was like, trust me, you never tell that to another black woman anymore. So now I cried. I went home. I cried. And then I was like, why am I even crying? That's his problem. Let me go back and look for another job. And eventually I got hired. I got hired in a company that treated me so well, in a position I didn't have experience for, but performed really well and got promoted in 3 months. So you have to build a thick skin. if you want to succeed in job search for various reasons, not necessarily because they're going to discriminate you or it's going to be racism or what or stereotyping, but someone will say something that will hit you so hard, and you have a choice to either let it break you or use it to move on. So resilience is very important in job searching. Now, this one I've seen so many candidates, especially from 2020, those that have been looking for jobs like from 2020 onwards. And I always tell people looking for jobs, you have to look at multiple options. Having a source of income doesn't mean it must come from a job. Gone are the days where people thought that the only way to earn money is through a job, full-time or contractual job or whatever. Look at multiple options. Now, especially for people that have 10 plus years of experience, maybe you're chasing a job and employment is telling you, you are not supposed to be employed. You're supposed to employ other people. Then you keep getting rejected time and again. There's a client who came to me 2020, close to towards the end of 2020. And he was working with one of these big brands, Hugo Boss. And I told him, listen, you have an amazing profile, 20 years of experience, and you're still looking for a job. How about you look at other options like freelancing, consultancy, mentoring, like other options are there. Because you have a lot of experience that you can easily give off to somebody else. So he was like, no, I want a job. I said, why? Because if I have to look for like freelancing work, consultancy, it's going to require me a lot of effort. I thought, but you're going to be doing the same when you're working with somebody else. You're going to put in effort. No one is going to tell you, okay, join my company, just sit there. But the same way you're going to sell another person's product is the same way you're going to sell your own self, selling your own skills. So he gave it a try. Today he told me, like every time we talk, it's like, Tess, I can never go back into employment. But because he looked at other options. So look at other options. I always tell people, you can't reject me twice and I'd still look at the same thing. 1, 2. You said no twice. I'm done. I know that is not for me. Because I know I can't be rejected twice. That's just me. Call it what you want to call it, but it's just, that's what I know. So ensure that you look at other options. What other options are there? Whilst you continue to look for a job, what are the other things that you can do? Can you teach online? If you can you sell another person's product? Can you, there are so many things you can do. You can start a YouTube channel and teach freshers, because if you have, let's say, 10 plus years of experience, there is a lot of experience you can transfer off to other people. And you will be amazed at how many people want to pay for what you have. Because many people are starting. They are at the start of their career, yet you are probably beyond mid-level, right? So that is a lot of knowledge you can give out. You just have to frame it better and give it away. And then people will pay for it. Lastly, the last thing. Yes, today I'm on time. The final thing you have to learn to do for you to deal with rejection, job search rejection well, is learn to move on. Many times I come across posts on LinkedIn, and this candidate is complaining about the recruiters that have ghosted him or her. And I'm not saying they shouldn't talk about it, but every time you repeat your sad story, it is one way of convincing yourself that it's the only story. You always tell yourself, because the more you repeat it, your brain is saying, yes, that's how it should be. Yes, that's how it should be. And you'll stop focusing on where you have to go, and you continue to focus on what is in the past. Because let's all be honest, your rejection is in the past at the time you're talking about it. It is not happening, and it's not going to happen. It already happened. So it's in the past. So every time you dwell on the past, you're forgetting the present and the future. Do you want to continue to live in the past? There is a saying in my language that when you lose a loved one or a child, you don't sleep on the grave. I can tell you that that's so true. I lost my mother last year to COVID. Nobody, not even me, slept on the grave. Nobody slept on the grave. Everybody was like, we go back to the house. Because now, you see, you're there, you're crying, oh, mommy. They tell you, go and sleep in the grave with her. You start to say, you know what? No, let them sleep there. I'm going to sleep here. Because you move on. You may not realize that you have moved on at that point because you're still grieving. It takes time to grieve. We're still grieving 1 year. Still grieving. But somehow you move on. You accept. Like, she has died. I'm not going to sleep with her in the grave. Even if I was sleeping with her in the same bedroom. No, I'm not going to sleep with her. It's the same with the job search. You accept, okay, this has happened. Yes, I've been ghosted. And you're not the only one, by the way. It's a bitter truth. You're not the only one that has been ghosted. You're not the only one that recruiters run after. And then once they have an interview with you, then you start running after them. It happens. Is it good? No. At the end of the day, it happens. Are you going to kill yourself because of that? No. So learn to move on. Move on peacefully and always look for. One of the things that life has taught me is that there is always an opportunity in a challenge and a challenge in an opportunity. Now, the question is, where are you looking? Where are you looking? So if you focus on the challenges, you'll see a challenge in every opportunity. There are people I used to know, now I don't know anymore because there is a way I lose touch of certain people. When I see that your eyes only see problems, I switch off. I don't hate you, but I just make sure that the gap grows bigger and bigger and bigger until we lose touch completely. So there are those people that always see problems. You tell them, you know what, I'm going to start a business. The taxes are so high. So what? Hey, the economy is so what? So if you've been rejected, always remind yourself, hey, it's not the end of the world. You sit down and cry and whine and toss and flip and undress and do whatever, scream. Time is ticking. And before you know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 6, 1 year, and you're like, I've been looking for a job, I've just been complaining. And yet once okay, it has happened. If they're going to come back to me, let them come back to me. If they're not going to come back to me, it's okay. I'm still breathing. There was life before them. There's going to be life after them. Look for the next step. Work on that. Now, one of the things I've realized why many people actually, they fail more than they succeed is they split their efforts. Let me do this 10%, let me do this 10%, let me do that 20%. Forgetting that if you put in 10% in anything, you're going to either get 10% or less. You won't get more. You put in 20%, you're going to get 20 or less. You put in 100, you're going to get 100 or less. That's the effort you're going to put in. Because you think you're multitasking, you're distracting yourself. So focus. If it is applying for a job, don't just throw applications. Someone told me, in 1 day, I applied to 100 jobs. You can't. You cannot. You cannot. It means you're just getting your CV and throwing it to anybody that has an open position. That is going to mean that all of those 100 positions, companies are going to get back to you to say you're not the right fit. Why? Because you didn't take time to customize your resume. Every time we tell people, don't send your resume if it's not customized. They think, it's a cliche. It's not. Every time you take time and customize, One, you're going to customize for the right role. Because whilst you're customizing and you say, hey, they want someone who has this, I don't have it. Let it be. And it's mandatory because when, for example, if I am looking for a job and they say, what example can I give? They say we want somebody who speaks fluent Finnish and Swedish. You must be speaking fluent Finnish and Swedish. I'll let it go because I know they're going to reject me at the end of the day. Now, that is in communication. Every role, you must be able to communicate well. If the requirements you don't have are mandatory to that role and you send an application, they're going to reject you. It's sheer common sense. If you take time to think about it, you'll understand it. But if you're the kind that says, oh, HR manager, I apply. HR executive, I apply. Anything that falls within your category, you just apply without looking at the requirements. Then you're going to send out 100 CVs that are going to have 100 rejections. They're going to raise your blood pressure. Your depression is also going to come up. And your mental health is going to be affected. You won't think right. And then the next day you'll have an interview and you'll go to the interview with your brain scattered everywhere. They're asking about A and you're giving answers about C. You've disorganized yourself. And then you're going to blame the person that has interviewed you for rejecting you, yet you're qualified, yet you have everything that they need. But you didn't express it well. You know who you are. You know what you're good at. You know what you can do. The interviewer, me on the other hand, I don't know. And I'm not going to think for you. There is a guy who wrote a quote that says, one of the problems in communication is we think other people think like us. I don't remember who that is. But you realize that many candidates have failed to learn how recruiters think because you're not going to hire yourself. I'm going to hire you. If I'm a recruiter, I'm going to hire you. Why don't you learn and understand how I think? You can. You take time to learn how I think. Trust me. The next time you come and talk to me, you're going to speak to my heart and not my brain. I've always told people, stop speaking to recruiters or hiring managers' brains. The brains have so much in them. You know, just imagine one brain has a part of the job, the child, the wife or husband, a nephew, a sibling, a parent. All these things are here. Now you, as a job seeker, you're also coming and trying to see where you fit. No, you don't have to. You just speak to my heart and see. I'll find a place for you in my head. It is my duty to put you in my head. It is your duty to put yourself in my heart. If you learn that, no recruiter, no hiring manager is going to ignore you, even when they don't have a position. So, we have run out of time. We have run out of time. See you again next Monday. Same time, 8 p.m. East African time or 7 p.m. Eastern European time. That's why I stick to East African time. It's easier for me. But see you again. YouTube, see you again on Monday. Is it Monday? Look at her. My PA. See you on Monday. If you have questions, look for me on LinkedIn. Tess Newman. I'm the only Tess Newman on LinkedIn. I'm the only Tess Newman on TikTok. I'm the only... I'm kidding. But I'm the only Tess Newman. Original. So look for me on LinkedIn. You can book a free consultation for 15 minutes. And we can talk. I can help you find a job in less than 90 days or you get your money back. I haven't gotten that person. Or get a promotion in less than 90 days or get your money back. Or anything that is career related. So thank you for watching. Let me first put off YouTube.